What's up, guys? Welcome back to AutoHeadz. Today
We're going to be doing an unboxing, review, and complete strip down of arguably one of the best short guns for your pressure washing detailing setup on the market. We're going to open this gun up completely, strip it down part by part, and see exactly what makes this gun so special. I'm going to tell you right off the bat that I was very impressed with a particular design feature that I found after breaking down the gun. But we'll get more into that later. Let's get to the unboxing and let's get started. So currently the active short pressure gun is around $80 on Amazon. It's a Prime product, so it ships almost immediately. 2-day shipping, which is always really nice. The packaging has a very clean, minimalistic design to it. When you open up the box, you're going to see that warranty info and some other boring stuff. I'm not really worried about that. Take off this little foam cover, and right away this thing looks very high quality. The gun looks and feels substantial. Stainless steel everywhere. The gun kind of feels more like a polymer than a plastic. The rubber handle has a great feel, very ergonomic with a nice textured grip. And this trigger is crazy. I wasn't expecting the trigger to have this snappiness to it. There is something going on inside this gun, design-wise, that is making it lock in like this. It almost feels like, or reminds me of like a trigger reset and a trigger in the trigger assembly of a firearm. I'm kind of anxious to take this apart and see what's going on here exactly, but so far I'm very impressed. All right, let's take a look on the inside of this gun. We're going to quickly highlight the features, and then we're going to compare it and contrast it to a less premium short gun so you can kind of see what makes this gun premium and what makes it unique. These are all the detailed specifications. Feel free to pause the video to check those out. The active short gun has all internal components. The Swiveling Quick Connect allows the pressure washer hose to move independently of the short gun. This feature prevents hose kinking and allows for much better mobility. It also has a 304 stainless steel quick connect outlet, ensuring a leak-free connection every time. And by far the most impressive feature of this gun is the ball bearing trigger system. We'll get more into this in a second. Okay, now let's compare the active to the Mikkellen's pressure washer gun just so you guys can see the unique features. The Mikkellen's, like 90% of most pressure washer guns, is a very simple trigger system. You pull the trigger back, it compresses a piston and opens up a valve, releasing the water. This requires constant tension, and over some time, especially if you're washing multiple cars, your hand's just going to get tired. With the active trigger, once you push that trigger back to a certain point, all of the resistance just kind of goes away. Then we're going to have internal versus exposed fittings. With internal fittings, you're going to have a leverage advantage on the pressure washer hose side as well as the quick connect side that connects to your foam cannon or your pressure washer gun attachments. During my testing, the torque advantage was significant with the active pressure washer gun. Having the weight of both the foam cannon and the pressure washer hose closer to the gun itself makes it much easier to maneuver overall. External fittings on the Mikkellen's pressure washer gun add an additional 3 inches, and I'll tell you what, it's a significant difference in torque. You can really feel it. It feels a little less maneuverable, a little more clumsy. Brass versus stainless steel on the quick connect outlet side. Brass is okay, but stainless steel is by far the best. Brass will tarnish over time, which could lead to some minor leaks due to the buildup of mineral deposits on the connection points. Let's break down the gun and take a look inside. It's going to be 7 standard stainless steel screws to remove the faceplate of this short gun. There's a small pin that holds the trigger assembly together. There's only one of these. Put that to the side. Here you'll see a floating ball bearing. It's just sitting on top there. Just a warning, be super careful when you take off the faceplate because this ball bearing will go flying, and if you lose it, good luck finding it. Now I'm just going to remove this entire piece here, and you'll notice on the back side there's another ball bearing and there's also a spring. I'm utilizing a Q-tip with some Vaseline to handle that ball bearing. I just could not grab onto it. I was just constantly losing it, so just a little hack to kind of easily remove and manipulate that ball bearing. And then you're also going to have this little spring piece right here. And these right here are the 2 stop plates on either side of the gun. All of these pieces work together to make that nice trigger reset system that we see in the active short gun. There's a lot going on here, but I'm going to try to break it down at least as best as I understand it. As you compress the trigger slides the ball bearings to this stop plate, and there's 2 levels to the stop plate. So the first level, it compresses the piston, and that's how you get that really short, quick spray. As you continue to pull the trigger back, it hits a higher level, compresses the spring even further with the help of the ball bearings against the stop plate, and that's when you almost get no pressure at all because the pressure is pushing up against the side of the gun as opposed to straight back on your hand. It's kind of like what you see UFC fighters doing every once in a while when they grab onto the towel while they're getting weighed in. It kind of alleviates some of the weight because you're putting pressure on an outside force. The same thing's kind of happening here with the ball bearing. As the ball bearing compresses the spring, there's more outside force on the ball bearing as it slides against that stop plate, taking away the amount of pressure needed to pull back on the trigger. It's a really genius system. I'm not sure how many people use this on their pressure washer guns, but I gotta say it's really, really smart of Active to use this. Putting the gun back together is a pretty simple process. Just start with that pin for the trigger assembly, drop it in the same hole that you took it out of. We're gonna sandwich the spring between two ball bearings. So push that first ball bearing down into that hole, take your spring, push the spring in, and then the last ball bearing is just gonna sit. Oh, almost lost it there. Last ball bearing is going to sit right on top here. And when you put this together, you can kind of see, you can kind of visualize how that stop plate is rubbing up against the compressed ball bearing right there. Before you drill everything in, I would recommend putting some downward pressure and pulling that trigger just so you know that the trigger assembly is working the way it should. I can't overemphasize enough how cool this trigger system is, and if you guys know in the comments kind of who was the first one to do this in a pressure washer gun, I'm not sure if Active was the first one or not, but let me know in the comments if you guys know who was the first one to kind of design this system. Fully compressed, I can hold this trigger down with a Q-tip with basically zero force. Very impressive design. All right, let's take the Active shotgun outside and see how it works under pressure. Now, right off the bat, I could feel better maneuverability and a much lighter feeling overall, especially going up and down when I'm spraying up and down. That reduced torque from the smaller internal fittings was very apparent. Even more so when I added the extra weight of the foam cannon to the front of the gun, you can really tell the difference with the quick connects, internal versus external. It's just better maneuverability overall, and it gives the gun a very lightweight feel. Now, what I will say is McKillen's swivel does seem to be a little slicker. It swivels a little easier back and forth when compared to the Active. Now, I'm not sure if that's just because I just got it and it needs to break in a little bit, but I'll give credit where credit's due. The Active has a little less smooth of a swiveling action when compared to the McKillen's. So I foamed up this truck and rinsed it off probably 3 or 4 times, trying to look for things that I didn't like or some weak points to the gun. I gotta say, I have not found anything that I don't love about this gun, really. I mean, with the exception of maybe the swivel could be a little better, but man, this gun is really, really close to perfect. The design of it is just a joy to use. It just works exactly how you want it to work, feels very light and maneuverable in your hand, and the biggest thing for me is just the zero pressure it takes to pull down that handle while you're constantly spraying. I mean, right now there's nothing. I'm just barely squeezing the gun to have it fully compressed and have it spraying, which is like just the best feature ever. My 2-year-old daughter's able to do this with one hand. That's how light the trigger pull system is for this. So final thoughts on this Active short pressure washer gun. This gun does a lot of little things that make an overall big difference. The internal quick connects, the really quality materials, the stainless steel, this polymer frame, the unique design on the Active trigger system is amazing. Like, I don't really fully understand how it works, but it just works great. It's probably my new favorite gun, and I totally understand why it's amongst the most popular for car detailers and car enthusiasts. Go check this out. I put a link in the description. If you guys liked today's video, it'd really help me out if you hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe to get more content just like this. I got a lot more coming. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.